Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown came out about a month ago to little fanfare and little attention. It was overshadowed by Power World, and we all know how that's going. But today, I want to talk about Prince of Persia, give my thoughts on it, and show you that it's actually a pretty good game from Ubisoft this time. Now, this latest game in the Prince of Persia series is a reboot. It's a spiritual successor-ish type of thing, because you're not the prince in this game. You are a character named Sardon, and he's one of the immortals of Persia. Basically, the top 6 or 7 warriors from Persia. Now, after a huge battle, Sardon and the gang are chilling, things are going on, they're having a party, and then his mentor, Anahita, takes the prince, kidnaps him, and they go off to Mount Kaf, which is a sacred mountain of a king. The then reigning ruler, the prince's mother, then tasked the immortals to go to Mount Kaf and get her son back. But in good old Prince of Persia fashion, time is weird when you get to the mountain. Things are going wrong. There are all sorts of monsters. People who have been there for a day look like they've been there for 30 years. All sorts of things are happening, and that's where the game really opens up. Now, unlike the previous versions of this game, this is not just a action level-based game. This is a Metroidvania through and through. Sardon starts off with just his normal swords and being able to parkour a little bit. And by the end of the game, you're throwing a sash to hook up an enemy and then teleporting somewhere else and then wave dashing. It's crazy at the end. There are all sorts of traps, and in good Prince of Persia fashion, you know, there have to be spikes and there has to be a saw blade somewhere. But with enough practice and skill, you'll start breezing through stuff like that. The movement in the game feels fantastic. Even when you jump, you have total control. Once you get your air dash, you can air dash and dip and flip over enemies. They really put their all, and they really embody the heart and soul of what a Prince of Persia game is. It's all about movement. It's all about world traversal. It's fun. And the movement isn't only to get around the map. It's in combat. You can backdash, you got parries, you have time rewind. So if you're in a location, you can rewind back and then get to the enemy that you just launched. All of the functions and world traversal also have an aspect in the combat of the game, and it is well thought out. Each new enemy type feels more like a puzzle in and of itself than just a regular fight. Sardon just doesn't have his hacking slashing. He also has lows, he has a launcher, he can follow you into the air and do an air combo. There are a lot of fighting game-ish mechanics in this game. He even has a super meter, which I didn't think I needed, but I discovered I really liked. You unlock all sorts of supers and boosts using that meter. You can heal, you can throw a projectile, there's a counter one, there's an install, which costs 3 bars. I'm like, damn, is this Marvel now? It really lends itself, and it really makes you think about how best you want to run this character, what you want to really do with Sardon. When you get really good in the combat in the game, you can quickly breeze through enemies, launch them in the air so they can't do much if they're launchable, because some enemies actually aren't launchable. They just get knocked back. You can kill them pretty quickly. Do a couple air combos, dash through the air, slap them a few more times, they die. And you're like, wow, this feels amazing. This is great. This is a fantastic combat experience. But the enemies do respawn when you get to what's called a whack whack tree, which is basically what heals you and where you get to change your perks for your necklace. This can be aggravating at times because you'll get to a tree, you're like, all right, I'm safe, I'm good. And then you realize, oh no, I have to run past all of those enemies again to get forward in this map. It's very Souls-like in that aspect. It's understandable because you don't want to run out of enemies, but it's also a pain in the ass sometimes because some of those enemies are really tough. One thing I did really appreciate is that the characters are fully voice acted. They all talk. They all are great voice acting in this game. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying it. I'm like, man, I really feel the emotion in these lines. These bars go hard. And I really enjoyed it. The story was fun, if not a bit hammy at times, because I mean, it's gonna be hammy. You're talking about time stuff. It's gonna end up a bit hammy. Each character was vastly unique. Shout out to the muscle mommy, that blacksmith. Waifu of the game for me. But every character is vibrant and interesting. Even the characters you interact with once or twice, their designs are unique, and I enjoyed talking to each character, and I enjoyed doing the side missions that they gave me. Now, there were definitely a few issues I had with the game. So, and this, depending on how you feel about this, to tell you what kind of games you like. The map was a little too big. This map is massive. There's actually an area in the game that you do not have to go to finish the game. Every area isn't necessary. Of course, there's side paths and hidden things and like sub bosses and side quests. But no, there's just an entire section of the map I did not go to because I was like, well, I guess I'll come here later. And then I finished the game. I'm like, what is the point of this being here? So now I got to go back and explore that. And I'm like, well, at least it gives me some replayability. I can finish quests. I can buff my sword to the max level. I can do this. I can do that. There are many things to do, but they're all so spread out because this map is massive. This massive, huge, gigantic. Pick your synonym. This thing is a little too big for me. It was a little overwhelming. And if you get overwhelmed by large maps and not knowing exactly where to go, you'll be a bit frustrated with this. The other main issue I had with the game was that at times you get either locked into a spin animation. So if you get launched, sometimes start on a spin and then you cannot cancel out of it. So at times you'll get launched, but you'll for some reason go so high it resets you. So it'll take you and respawn you. And this happened when I was fighting the boss. And the boss got all of their health back like it was a fresh fight. Meanwhile, I'm sitting like, yo, I used 2 heals. I don't know what to do here. And it can happen at any point in time in the fight. And you're like, oh, well, I was in phase 2, but I guess we'll do this over, huh? And even if it doesn't reset, sometimes you get launched into, say, spikes or your saw blades or your spinning things of death. Pick your poison. Sometimes it's unavoidable. You can even get stun looped to death. It's rough. There was a time I got stuck. I don't know if I have this in the recording, but if I do, I hopefully find it. I got stuck in between 2 spear traps, and I'd bounce off one spear trap, hit the other spear trap, bounce back into the other one. And I'm like, what do I do here? And I just died. I just died from it. And it was very frustrating. And I'm like, wow, them's the breaks. Them's the breaks. But my final gripe is probably the price of the game. It's not a full $70 game, but it is about $50 or $60. It is a full game. Ubisoft wanted their bread for this game. But I enjoyed it. It was worth the money for me. I would have preferred it being like a $30 or $40 game instead of a $50 or $60 game. Fine. It is what it is. You have full voice acting. All the renders of the characters was nice. There were a few glitches here and there, but nothing too major. But it wasn't, say, a full CG cutscene type of thing. It wasn't like the assets were in 4K or anything super crazy like that. It was like a project from a smaller team, I'm pretty certain. Fact check me on that in the comment section down below, but I'm fairly certain it was a smaller team on this. So I guess the budget may have been larger than expected, or Ubisoft was like, yo, we got a banger here. We're gonna get all the money we can from this. And so they just pushed it through for $50 or $60, however much. But yeah, I think this game would have got a lot more traction and a lot more eyes on it if it was, say, $30 or $40 instead of 50 or 60. But all in all, this game was a blast. So check it out, definitely. If you have a chance, if you have time, if you can afford it, check out The Lost Crown, because no two playthroughs are ever going to be the same. It's a Metroidvania. You're going to do different things. You're going to explore in different ways. Hell, you may one-shot a boss or something. Who knows? Because there are ways to min-max everything in this game. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have you tried Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? What do you think of it? Have you even heard of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown? Because I know it got overshadowed by Power World. Let me know. Hit the like button if you like the video. And don't forget, if you're a fan of gaming, strike that subscribe button. This is Matt, and I'll see you in the next video.